Team Envy fighting for their lives here, about to go on to main stage after being knocked out of their respective matches. Seeing which one of them will come out of this. Singularity, we've seen so many good things from them. Envy, glimpse of it, and then not. Of course, I'm your host, Katie Bedford, joined by Nameless, Study, and Pac-Man here on the desk. So to kind of dig into this a little bit, Pac-Man, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about this matchup? See those game mode records right here.
So Singularity, even though they lost earlier today, they are 5-0 in S&D, and Insight has a 2.0 KD throughout those 5 searches.
With a sniper.
With a sniper, and he's just doing it all in search. Indy lost both of their searches earlier today, so that's their window into winning this series for sure, and I don't think that Indy's near strong enough to go through this series without winning search against a team like Singularity.
Yep. Singularity is absolutely incredible. I had the pleasure of watching all their games throughout group stage, and then, you know, their first game obviously didn't go so well against Sicario, but they still win that search and destroy, and that's the focal point in this series for them to capitalize on. Like, they can beat them in both searches, and they can take a respawn. The respawn's been fine as well. We saw them versus Luminosity and what they're capable of. Detain is incredible with that SOG. Kleenex as well. He's taking over games with the SOG, so these guys can slay. And Envy, you know, after that loss, they're absolutely buried in their feelings right now. Like, they saw their bracket, they knew they could make a run, and, you know, they fall to units in that game 5. So Singularity can capitalize at this moment.
They certainly can. Of course, they've both had a little bit of time, a few hours to hopefully, you know, compose themselves going into this. But yeah, to your point, I mean, we've seen amazing things from Insight, Sniping. We've seen amazing things
roster.
from Detain. Yes, specifically in those S&Ds. And yes, maybe Envy won some during groups, but not looking particularly strong today. And if they can't take at least one off of Singularity, how are you gonna take this off? I mean, I don't see them winning both hard points.
Well, the way that they can win both hard points is plain and simple. The way that you lost the units, your main leader, your 2-time champion, 8.6. That's unacceptable. This is supposed to be your domain. This is where you are the world champion. You need to show why. When you're that leader of your team, unfortunately, Gunless also was sitting at a 0.9, even though he had an unbelievable first map. But if you're Aches, you're gonna need to be able to step up for your team. Knowing that you guys are not good at S&D, or at least not as strong, going up against this team that are 5-0, you need to be able to win these respawns.
And you need to be able to close it out before that game 5 as well. Yes, they have a 3-1 record so far with their game 5, but it's going the distance every single time. They need Nameless to be able to close.
Yeah, I mean, and we keep talking about their search and destroy because they lost both of them in the last series. And, you know, just to bring those issues back up that we kind of saw in that series, it was the flank. They kept giving it up. They gave up about 6 or 7 first bloods to the opponent during that map. Like, you can't do that. You have to play, if you're gonna play a tight setup, you have to play a tight setup. You can't have 4 people in one spot, one guy by himself on the flank. He's gonna get overwhelmed. That's a mistake that MU was making during Pro League that has now come back to bite them. So it's something that they've had some time to go over and fix. We'll see if they implement those changes here in this
One thing also from that last unit series is that when you plant the bomb and you have the map control, don't give it up. Play confident. This is the reason why. If you have full, they have to break your setup. Don't give them an easy way to just get first blood and just defuse that bomb. It should not work like that.
It's just that Envy naturally plays a bit slow, so they need to go into all of their search and destroy setups with a lot of confidence. And I feel like once someone dies out of those setups, they usually give it up and give up that map control that you were talking about. They need to figure out how to shore that up against a team like Singularity, who's very good. And honestly, people don't know how they play here.
Exactly.
So Insight is last alive a lot. That's what we've noticed the whole time. He's always last alive, but these American players have no recognition of these guys. They have no idea how they play, no idea of their play styles, and it's catching them off guard.
And speaking of Insight, a 2.0 S&D KD going so hard for his team, so dominant in those search and destroys, and they're gonna have to be able to handle him.
Yeah, I mean, and talking about their search, you know, I brought it up earlier as well, is they like to give up bomb plants and retake as a team. Use his sniper to look over, they push up, they try to trade out. So they're comfortable with doing that. And that could be, you know, troublesome for Envy because Envy takes a lot of time before they get near those bombs and even go for a plant. They really like to play for those first bloods, and this team Singularity is not a team that's going to give them those first bloods. So we'll see. That's usually like the route to success for Envy. And you saw when they get first blooded, they just pretty much lose the round every time. So they search for that blood, and if they're able to get it, they're okay. I don't think it's going to be that way or the case against Singularity. They're not going to give it up.
Well, and you guys have said over and over again, especially when we were watching Envy earlier today, that it's almost frustrating to see how slow they are.
Yeah, Decimate's last alive every single round.
Every single round.
It can't be like that, right? Like, Decimate has to push with the team. He has to be with them. He has to push up, get involved. He's last alive far too much. He's just slower sub player, and that's just something that's not going to work for them in search.
Let's look, though, at Assault. on Team Envy. Of course, he was the CWL Champs MVP last year, getting his first championship win there as well, getting that ring. You can see his stats thus far. But I mean, really, the whole entire team is going to have to step up. It almost feels like, yes, individual players, Aches especially, can't be having a 0.6, but everyone together, the communication, the teamwork, the pacing.
I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at Silly. I feel like in the respawns, even in the last series, Silly was going off.
Yeah.
He's been really good. And at the last champs, he was the aggressor for them. And just now with this team, he's also the aggressor. And he's been playing fantastic in the respawns. I need those guys to step up to carry the load that sometimes it just doesn't give in respawn in this game. We know that. You're not going to expect him to go above and beyond what he normally does. You just want him to step up a bit. But Silly is the guy that I'm looking to step up and be huge on the map for them.
It'll be interesting, though, to see if Singularity is able to take this, seeing one of those open bracket teams, one of those amateur teams, how far can they go? How many steps can they take into this tournament? Can they maybe survive, you know, how far into Saturday? So it'll be certainly interesting to see what they can do, if they will fall here to Envy, or if Envy can keep their hopes alive and continue things onward. But to find out, to take you through that storyline, we are going to hand it over to Ben and Chance.
Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you to the guys at the desk as well. 2 more series to go. We're in the first day of bracket play at 2019 Call of Duty World Championship, and this one I think is going to be an interesting one. Envy's involved, which naturally means it's probably going to go to a game 5.
I mean, yeah, 4 for 4 on the day, but again, that is a terrifying prospect for Envy, because on the flip side, Singularity undefeated in the game mode. Admittedly now, there's a lot more VOD review you can actually do, like Bevels can actually crack open laptop and see what these guys are doing off the map, because it's definitely an advantage they had going into the tournament. You know where to expect the opponent to be. You can game plan for the LG, the UIUs that they face, and it's worth pointing out, first team they played against where they didn't really have information on Sicario, Sicario took them down 3-1.
Okay, so in terms of Envious, this World Championship, obviously it's a very historic organization in Call of Duty esports, and they always have great placements, it feels like, or for the most part, the Call of Duty World Championships. Where is their ceiling? Like, do you see this as a series that they should come out and win, or are you maybe feeling like, no, they're actually the underdogs here?
I don't want to say underdog. That doesn't feel like the right word, because they are the pro team, but suffice to say, I'm very nervous right now if I'm an Envy fan, right? Singularity has been a very strong team. Their teamwork has been fantastic. I guess one of the best things for Envy is obviously a lot of these guys have been here. They've been in tough positions. They've been playing on the big stage, many of them for their entire careers. Like, not a decade, but years of experience, right? On the flip side, Berlini. Like, Bids was at Champs last year, but plays top 32. He really only saw 2 days of gameplay. So this is really the first time they've really got the full effect of the crowd, elimination game in front of however many people are watching right now. It's a big match, the biggest of their lives.
The question is now, for me, how far is experience going to drag you through a series, right? If you're Team Envious, you have so much experience within the squad. I mean, you're like the world champions in there, right? And then on the side of Singularity, the relative unknown coming into the World Championship. And they made a lot of noise in group stage. Unfortunately for them, didn't win their first game in winners bracket, and that's why they find themselves playing late here Friday night. Losers round 1. You lose, you go home. There's potential upsets for a couple of Pro League teams. As of right now on the Bravo stream, you can watch Team War versus Splice. Team War's up 2-1 there, and maybe Envy could be in some trouble in this series as well.
And this Arsenal hardpoint that we're getting started with, pressure's on Envy right out of the gate, right? You're going up against a team that's undefeated in Surge. If you're expecting, if you lose the map 1, oh God, we might find ourselves down 0-2 and we need the reverse sweep, and then they're guaranteed to see a map number 5 as well. They need to come out of the gate hot. Singularity, I think at least for the first map, a little bit less pressure.
Well, Arsenal hardpoint will be our map for game 1. I'm going to kick things off with Assault. Really started to find form earlier on in the day. That's a good start for him. Found 3, but unfortunately couldn't find the 4th. It's Detain on the flip side for Singularity, finding 3 himself.
Very nice start. Detain, though, well, it's going to get tagged up by Ace, but not going to fall. And you can see Envy trying to get a bit of a map spread. Kleenex was pushed up very far in gun, but he gets taken care of. And now Ace, well, his teammates at the very least are getting the kills. Envy with the clean retake.
Honestly, I quite like the take the desk actually had when they looked at Ace. They looked specifically at the stats and said it isn't what you expect from a player who's been in this situation so many times. We always talk about Ace at Champs and how often he turns into a different player. Well, you're going to need that here in Losers round 1. Gunless trying to aid the rotation of P2. Envy. That's an important win, though, from Decimate. Shuts down Keza. Envy should be able to get some free time on P2.
And this is huge as well, just because of how far out Singularity actually are. Decimate falls, but he takes one down with the nade. The closest person right now for Singularity to the hill isn't even halfway across Gun. They got to get past Silly before they have to get past Gunless. And the next gunfight, Envy with a complete lockdown, a ton of control. Finally, Singularity's pushing forward, but that's 20 seconds after the hill pops.
Decimate back into the hill, contested currently. That's 2 in quick succession for him as he looks for maybe number 3 pushing from Gun. There's going to be 4 right there as well. Decimate trying to take over the start of this game. Envious with a nice lead so far, 45-17, and still 20 seconds still to go on the second hill.
Doing a very nice job. 20 seconds is a ton of scrap time for them to get a nearly perfect hill. And well, Gunless for the moment, the lone man. That is effectively the entire team of Singularity come to hunt him down and can't even take one of the grave as Ache actually team kills. And now Ache has a little bit of pressure on him as 2 players for Singularity hunt him down. So nice rotation coming out from Singularity. Of course, they'll Decimate pressure on the back.
I mean, he's the man of the moment. 4 streaks so far, 285 points away from streaks. Player closest right gets the beat down. Unfortunately, though, no streaks for him. Insight in a position to trade, and Singularity now with hill control.
You got some ICR players juggling in the hill. The auto-aim drag gonna help him out a little bit as Gunless can only find 1. Now you got Detained, switching weapons, pushes forward, takes him down. 3 down for Singularity, and you can see Detained, 0 hesitation. Put up, get that map control, give him the next one. Man, just came off respawn, instantly goes on a 3 streak. Some decent time going Singularity.
Love that from Detained. He's played his life very well, and it's the same gunfight he had a few moments ago. This time he's gonna lose it. Aches cleans up the kill. Still 15 seconds of scrap, and Envy have fought really hard for that. Insight may have to just give that up, play for the rotation. Detained is gonna have one last go at it. Assault's watching the rotation, and Insight's having none of it. He shuts him down, and well, Gunless, essentially a 1v3 for now. Singularity, a good rotation from them.
You actually see, yeah, they have complete control of both sides. The spawn out actually helps them out quite a bit from the old hill. So down by 15 at the start of the hill, but they got the complete setup. Maybe try to rack up a little bit of time. Envy trying to surge through window, but every angle, it looks like Singularity has most of them covered, but Gunless surges through and cleans up 2. So it might be contested, but now it's advantage Envy.
It was a great start for Team Envious here in map number 1. Singularity closed the gap, but 30 seconds still to go, and Envy set up, ready and waiting. Assault looking for his 10th kill. He almost has a minute hill time. And we still have 1 more hill to go here in the first rotation. Over to Aches' POV. He drops. Silly looking for the trades. 2 players in front of him. Detained still alive. But honestly, if you're Detained there for Singularity, back away, hold the spawn, play for the new rotation.
That's such a nice hill from Envy as well, just because Singularity, they had all 5 at the hill and it got broken fairly quickly. This time Singularity has all 5 in and around the hill, but Silly's already in the back. Inside though on the cross. Tags him up, but doesn't actually finish the kill. Now Silly's come back, gets one with the pistol, so Envy should be good to secure the back spawns as Kez is gonna get traded. So another hill, Singularity's there first. Envy looking good for the break.
Envy, of course, now with full control of the spawns. Singularity may have hill control, but for how long? Trying to work from the back. Decimate looking to work through kitchen. Player 1 shot towards his left. Kleenex wins that one. His 4th kill so far. Singularity really started to chip away at the Envy lead. And that's 3, that's 4. Dead as Kleenex shuts down Assault. May have looked like it was going to be a stressful rotation there to the final hill. But Singularity have done a very good job of just holding it. And with 18 seconds left, you could see a lead change here.
That's a very big hold, and Keza, well, he had the window covered. Everyone from Envy now are gonna have to flood in through lobby. You gotta get past Kleenex, who is 115 off of streaks, and his buddy Keza's got the other door covered. But Kleenex, the man to watch. 1 kill, lightning is his.
And he started off 3 and 10. He's now on a 5 streak, make it 8 and 10. A Danish man putting on a display is just needs 50 points. He's gonna get the kill just in the nick of time. The trade was there, but the lightning strike has been earned. A couple more, and of course have that grav slam, but back and forth so far. 118 to 112. Singularity with the advantage.
Even still, Envy has done a very nice job on this hill again. Singularity had an effective near 5-man lockdown inside the point, so even for Envy to make it scrappy towards the start is nice, but it's about how you finish. And Assault able to pick up 3, cleaning house for his teammates, giving him clearance to push forward. CleanX, of course, there for the contest, but right now, Envy not in a terrible spot. They can handle the rotation anew.
And that's the saving grace here for CleanX and Singularity. You can contest this for quite some time because you do have the Lightning Strike, which is going to have a massive effect, if not on P2, definitely P3. You'll want to see that investment come through. Actually, credit to CleanX, because from a horrifically slow start, he's actually 200 away from overlapping, and that's some crispy shots. He knows decimates to the left. Great read, shuts down the War Machine. No further streaks. And unfortunately for Singularity, they don't control the small ones, but at least they have hill control for now.
CleanX just completely ran through the team right there. Massive kills. Now he respawns in, calls in the Lightning Strike from the front. He even gets the feed, the saw kill towards the end. Man just went from 10 and 12 to 19 and 13. He is on fire.
Okay, and he's trying to hit shots like that. CleanX having a field day with Team Envious. Envy had what felt like control for the most part of this map so far, but not anymore. Singularity led by the charge of CleanX almost finds 2. Now with a comfortable lead, 170 to 120, 50 points, 15 seconds of scrap should go to Envy. But if you're Singularity, you're A-okay with that. You can rotate, you still have a lot of utility. Of course, you have the Grav Slam, you've got the Tempest. Vision Pulse has just been popped now by Envy. I believe it's gonna be Assault that uses it, but CleanX doesn't even care.
You can see him through walls, but you can't stop the Fry Man cleaning him up. And he's got the Grav, someone's in the back, but he can feel it. Able to get the cleanup kill. Singularity hanging out inside the hard point, because CleanX is killing everything in sight.
This is a complete takeover of a game. He started off so slow, it was close. Envy had the lead, then all of a sudden CleanX wakes up, and this is the outcome. Singularity storming through game 1. War Machine is out. Detain's gonna find one. Grab used by Silly, but to really no big effect. Inside still back steps, controlling this hill. Envy's gonna have to fight from the front.
Doing a nice job, though, picking up a couple big kills. Gunless investing the Tempest to shut down 2. He's 450 off right now, but you got to imagine the man might need some streaks to get themselves back into the game. But 12 seconds of scrap time going their way, and you got the Tempest for the rotation. Guy in the window gets body blocked by his own teammate, hits the second shot, and gets the cleanup kill. Still alive.
And bear in mind, it's 145 away from streaks now. 20 as that kill comes through, but CleanX hits the quad Grav Slam. No streaks for Envy. Keza shuts down Aches. All 5 fall. And Singularity go from what looked like it could be a bit scary of a moment to now back fully in control.
Oh my God. Envy runs through CleanX. He has been on a mission every life. It seems like he's going on some sort of a streak. On a 4 right now, just off the Grav. And you have to imagine might be able to find a couple more. There's number 5, 85 off streaks, but at this point, doesn't make a difference. 30 seconds left on the hill. They can't quite win it here, but they can run it up quite a bit.
It's a 27-7 run from CleanX, and he's not done yet. More streaks for the man. Turns and burns on 8. Oh, he is frying CleanX with the biggest turnaround of a performance I think I've ever seen in Call of Duty myself. Unreal from him. An absolute takeover. And honestly, once he started heating up, was there ever any doubt for map 1? Envy just got ran through by one man from Denmark.
I was about to say, man is holding it down for his home country. Good Lord. I mean, again, he was what? I mean, 12 and 13, 11 and 13, something along those lines.
3 and 10.
And then every single life goes on a 4 spree, then a 6, capped it off with an 11 or 12.
He hits a 4-man grab.
Turned on Aches, at least 2 times that we saw. Who knows how many times he did it before that. CleanX, and one of the most important moments, games of his life.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the CleanX show. We sure did. That was the moment that really turned the game completely around, because from that 4-piece he goes on to get streaks, and there was never any doubt Singularity were going to win from there. There was still a moment when Gunless could have had streaks. He gets one more, maybe Envy come back into it, but nope, CleanX just not letting it happen.
And not just CleanX, but how about Paradox for MVP? Because you got Gunless 20 off his streaks to get the capture time like he had it, and then to flip the perspective at the right moment just to catch the Grav Slam. This is why we love Paradox.
Yeah, shout out to our observer behind the scenes. He's doing a great job as always. Wouldn't be the same without it, that's for sure. But Singularity come out, take map number 1. And for a moment, I was a little worried for them, because you always wonder, right? When you're not used to playing on the main stage, you're not used to this pressure, this kind of environment, if you will. They played through open bracket for the most part. I mean, you look at their placements, yes, they've improved. Top 6 was the highest they've had. Now you're playing at Champs. Champs is a different ball game. Not only are you just playing at Champs, you're playing in the losers bracket at Champs. Losers round 1, you look across the stage, and there's just so much experience. Players who have fought for their lives before, they've been in this situation, and that's the turnaround you get. Because to me at the beginning, I was thinking, oh no, there might be some nerves. But to turn it around in that fashion, to come back and just dominate Team Envious like that, that was sensational.
And the turnaround that Kleenex had started 3-10, finished 36-17. The man went on a 33-7 run. That's not bad. That is not bad at all.
Positive right there. That is a phenomenal performance. It really is.
I'm starting to think his name is Dylan.
Oh, that's not
actually
Dylan.
Tobias, I'm pretty sure.
That's Kleenex. That's who that is. Don't try and compare him to anyone else. That was absolutely phenomenal. And of course, that puts Envy in a spot above it, down 1-0. We talked about the search and destroy, and specifically for Singularity, that's a game mode they've excelled at here at the World Championship.
Undefeated 5-0, and I think Insight the Desk highlighted aptly. He's been sniping, not every single round, but the majority of the games he has played, and he's posting a 2KD. Okay. Straight across the board, 2KD. After one day, you just say, oh, that's absurd, they barely played any maps. But over the course of 5 maps, having a 2KD is not too shabby, so Envy, they absolutely have their hands full.
They sure do. And of course, not necessarily just the search and destroys, but Envy in their game 5s, they've played 4 series here. All of them have gone to a game 5. They've won 3, lost 1. Of course, the loss was earlier on today. Can they try and force this at least a little further? As of right now, Singularity look pretty good.
And I believe the loss Envy had for the game 5 was around 11 as well, which you've heard Aches talk about a little bit.
It's been there.
The round 11 on the year for them. I mean, their record, it has to be something to the effect of like 1-6, 1-7. The round 11s, they have not had the ice. And if they had ever won those round 11s, their year could have been, I mean, it would incredibly different.
Incredibly different here. Not wrong there. Of course, here's a look at our series. Arsenal Hardpoint goes to Singularity. Up next, the Payload Search and Destroy. Map 3 will be Arsenal Control. And if we do go any further, it'll be Gridlock. Can Envy tie things up here on Payload? There is almost a sense that if you allow Singularity to go 2-0 up here, for Envy, it's sweet dreams. Goodbye. I really see a way they can go for a reverse sweep against a team who's, again, been so dominant in Search and Destroy. Anyway, that game 5 to me seems like it's almost wrapped up before we even get there.
And then to even go back to an earlier point is, yes, now that we've seen Singularity play 5 times, you have a little bit more intel on them for their search, but I don't remember ever seeing them play on Payload. So even then, it's not like it's going to be easy. At best, you maybe have a map to watch over them. So Envy is in a very tough spot, and already this round, bomb planted effectively for free. It's going to be a 5v5 retake.
That's good bait as well that could come through here. A couple of players trying to find a pick. Detain, his job to watch up top. So Envious player right there. In actual fact, there's 2 of them. One of them is going to be Assault, and Detain wants absolutely none of it. Slides back out, doesn't win the fight. First blood did come through from Bids though, so for now at least a 4v4. Trades again coming through, make that a 3v3. Decimate, shuts down Bids. Kleenex and Insight looking for the 2v3.
First shot, he rarely misses. A man's on bomb, but he's not defusing. Insight can spot it out. There's simply not enough time. You have to hop it to try to hit the defuse, but Insight with the snipe, it's been so consistent the entire tournament. Hitting that shot on Assault basically just wins them the round. A great one for them to get.
Yep, good start. Decimate tried to hunt him down, just couldn't find him towards the end. I kill onto Aches, secures the round. And you're going to have a look in the best play, Insight, and that sniper rifle. Nice first shot, and then of course this, the kill onto Aches. Wasn't defusing the bomb at the time, but either way, good play from Insight.
And I love the way they play that as well. We see a ton of times when teams get the bomb down, they play over aggressive, they spread themselves thin just a little bit, but you get to see Singularity outside of really one man. All of them backed up. They knew they could just play around the bomb. They knew they could waste a lot of time. Played the B side very well, of course, Envy in response. going to the same place, but you got to get past this Insight.
He's already got at least a little bit of information. However, First Blood does go for Team Envious. Detain finds himself a double before being traded out. That now leaves us in a 3 versus 2 in favor of Singularity.
Doing the smart thing as well. You saw him take the one pop shot, but he said, hey, we got the man advantage. I don't have to risk getting picked by a sniper. I will just play with my team. Bait for him if need be. Of course, even if they plant the bomb, you trust yourselves for the retake, and then you even get the points for the defuse.
40 seconds left. Aches and Assault look as if maybe the wrap over towards the B site might be on, but no. They may have just misjudged that completely. Insight and Kleenex clean up the kills. Singularity now 2-0 up.
And the Saw duo right now, from the side of Singularity, they have been on fire. Obviously, Kleenex, the standout man for the first round, but this time it was Detain that led the charge to find 2.
Yep.
And then even when he fell, it was Kleenex right behind him to get the final trade on Silly. The Sogs have been on point.
And obviously, every time we cast Payload, we tend to talk a little bit about the triangle setup. That was what Envy had, and Detain just ran straight through him. He said, I don't really care how you're set up, I'm just going to get 2, and I trust my teammates enough to get the trade. And Kleenex, if he played that incredible in game 1, hasn't slowed down already. Might start thinking about some streaks.
Yeah, Kleenex only 300 off, and he does have bomb. Insight should have spotted at least one in Connector.
Okay.
And if he didn't spot him before, he knows now. His teammates coming through with the Sogs. Kleenex leading the charge. Bit bold. He is going to fall in those streaks for them, but still a 4v4.
Streaks on Payload, not always necessarily the strongest. But with that said, still nice to have. Aches finds himself 2. It's Envy with a big advantage in this round. 4 versus 2. They can't afford to let this slip. Insight and the sniper rifle. Still could be a problem. Has Keza alive with him. Keza's still searching for his first kill, however. And it seems as if Keza was trying to bait someone from Envious to just peek and find Insight a free kill. With 30 seconds left, and of course, bomb finding the most ideal spot should be pretty much impossible.
And Envy just played it smart. I mean, Assault peak maybe one time for Insight with a sniper, but then they give him nothing to work with. And then when he's the lone man, go and hunt him down. I think the biggest problem in that round, honestly, Kleenex probably just over-challenged a little bit. Thought he was chasing one player to shoot in the back, and then Aches just sat there and got the flank at the very least to shut down bids. But the players just got caught out in Connector.
Aches actually turning and burning there onto Detain. Envy get their first round now. And the search and destroy still down 2-1. It's now Envy back onto the attack. It's going to be Silly carrying bomb. And just looking at that overhead, you can see there, looks as if B is going to be the bomb site they want to try and challenge for. Don't have to worry about Insight that sniper rifle, though. The push could come through. Detain throws out the nade. At least slows down the push.
Couldn't tell if he stuck him with the nade or just got a hit marker with the hip fire, but lack of kill answers that question. Still the stun to work with as well, so a little bit of utility. Towards Envy, though, they're actually dropping the bomb towards Bids, and Bids is only able to take down one. Keep in mind, Aches did get picked by the sniper. Got a 4v3 Singularity.
Keza keeping his eye on outskirts. Assault needs to be careful if he pushes. He's thinking about it as well. That's going to be tough because now there's not really that much or many places he can escape from, but Shildy finds the pick onto Detain, so it actually levels out. 3 versus 3. 30 seconds. Of course, Envy still on the attack as Gunless hits the flank. That's a big play. Opens up a rotation now over towards the B site should they want to. However, Keza trades it out. Insight now left for the 1v2.
And they just timed that perfectly. Insight saw nothing, but might be able to wrap back and get a little bit of intel. Certainly when the bomb goes off, it answers his questions. He might be able to catch the player off bomb, but he stays alive. He has the sniper out thinking about the big play.
Don't do it to him. They have families. Nope. Silly doesn't give him a chance.
And what a fantastic 3v4 that Envy just had as well. You saw the way it developed of Assault, got a little bit aggressive, checked out Godspot, hopped towards the window, and then he spotted the man in Connector, and that's who Silly went to hunt down. And then after that, Gunless had a nice flank coming in, so even with the man advantage, they did not quite have enough map control, and Envy exposed it.
There's also a little bit of a juke too, because after Gunless finds that kill, it looked as if Envy was going to rotate across, but in reality, they just kind of fluffed out the kill cam, and Insight, who was in a pretty good spot, was a little bit baited over towards the B side. Silly now, after a nice play in the last round, finds himself 275 away from streets. So he was able to convert on that opportunity in this round.
You got everybody for Singularity coming towards A. At least one should get spotted. Aches getting hunted down. That is a wide rock. And Aches is going to learn that the hard way. 5v4 bomb planted. Envy just now got here for the retake.
Silly, of course, still the main target here for Singularity to try and find. And well, they spotted him. Kezza's decided to go on the flank, but he's missed absolutely everything. Eventually connects with the pick onto Silly. That alone, an important part of this round. Gunless shuts down bids as well. 3v2. Detain and Insight have to go big.
Gunless in the corner. Detain wins a huge one-on-one, and he's able to find the second. Goes to check the bomb, but that's Insight just gonna let him know.
Wow.
Better than the RK7. I hope it's the best play of the game.
It should be.
Because Detain was getting hunted by Gunless. We saw it over top and had the state of mind to just find Decimate. And we're going to see exactly that. He's getting hunted, makes the right call to free him, Decimate. And you talk about the quick turnaround. Nasty stuff.
What sense is he on?
10-10. I asked him earlier.
You did?
No.
You said it with your chest, so I believed you. Singularity. They'll take that. Up 3-2 now. And be back on the attack. Well, he has been a great game of Search so far. Back and forth rounds consistently as Kezza defensively looking over the A site. Now he's going to get the information, call it out to his teammates, and you expect to see those green arrows rotate pretty quickly now to the A site.
Yeah, Kez is going to play passive because he does not have team support yet. A lot of his teammates coming in through connector. Biz thinking about the full flank. So Kez's job is just information, spot out the cross.
Insight. Can he try and land an opening pick in this round? Well, so far hasn't found much. Assault just got some pretty bad timing. They know he's there, or at least I thought they did. Team kill and a pick for Assault. Really means this round is almost impossible to lose for Envy. No one drops. They all stay up and be tied up.
There's a fine line between bad timing and great timing, and it seemed like bad because they got through, and then he comes back around, and they just happen to be body stacking in a corner, and I think one man was prepared for it, but then
Poor communication at that point.
Other teammate just walks in front, and why would you be prepared for Assault to be playing outside of the corner to give up the information? But nice little round, complete control effectively, and another one for Envy. Still alive in the S&D.
Sure are. 3-3, keeping it close. Silly with a great game so far at 6-3, Assault 5-3. On the flip side, really Insight 5-4 and Detain 5-5, leading the way for Singularity. Once again, Insight goes for the pick, but Detain surges forward. Decimate falls for first blood. And Insight looks to try and find another pick. Unsuccessful so far. So with a one-man advantage, Singularity will feel good about this round.
They're doing a smart thing as well. Silly's gonna get picked. The Sogs again going a little bit crazy. Gunless with an ICR. You can see they're waiting for the double challenge. You got a couple bodies in connector. Detain just going back and forth. Gunless tags him up, but his teammates are falling. Kezza wins the one-on-one. And Assault last man standing. He's just gonna get hunted down. Kezza gets the final kill. A great adjustment from Singularity. They've had a round before where you play the triangle, you get all the Sogs to come through connector. Well, last time around, it was Aches that goes on the flank, cuts him off from connector, shoots a couple players in the back. This time, same level of aggression, go and push these players out, but after you get those kills, you turn around and wait for Aches. You don't allow the flank to cause problems, and then you win the round comfortably after that. Very nice adjustment from Singularity.
Once again, they take the advantage in the search and destroy. It really has been back and forth action here in Payload. Envy back on the attack, their turn to try and level it up. And it's Aches that's actually pulled out the sniper rifle. And, well, Vince just said, try and snipe, I dare you. They fly forward, but they fly straight into the pre-aim, and Envy will take a one-man advantage, make that two. It looked like a great strat on paper, but now Kezza for the 1 versus 3 makes it 1v2. Decimate shuts him down. we're all tied up again.
You can't hesitate. They made a great play call. You get Aches hunted down, and they had, what, 3 members, maybe make it 4 that were all sprinting down that walkway. You can't stop and turn around because Assault just makes clean work of you, just free kills. Just shoot him in the back. If those players just tried to apply the pressure, yes, tough gunfights to win. Envy was there prepared for it, but better at least go down swinging than to just get shot in the back.
You're not wrong. Again, a tied up game of search and destroy. Now a crucial round. You win this, you put yourself at map point. A Singularity that will be applying so much pressure onto Team Envious. Aches defending over towards A, launches out the nade, but gets tagged up, and that should be the information that Envy was looking for. As of now, though, the rotation starting to come through. Bomb still yet to go down, and I think Aches realizes he has to play for a little bit more information. He gets it there. And he may even get even more than just information. Almost the first blood. Bid's somehow still alive. 49 seconds left, and well, Bid's considering again going for the plant, but first blood still to come through.
Well, Envy, they might be a little bit worried about him planting. They keep checking the bomb with the wall banks. He's gonna try one more time, but not an easy place to get it down. It looks like he'll be successful. CleanX with the first blood, but Silly, he can make a play. You gotta get the timing right. He's gonna make a move. There's the first look up top. You jump up to the beat down. He loses the gunfight to Keza.
And Detain also shuts down Gunless. One more pushing. Keza reads it. Aches for the 1v4. He found the first, but he's not gonna find any more. Singularity, map point.
You can just see how impactful it is just to lower that walkway in the back.
Yeah.
Whoever's playing in this little tunnel, they are just so much safer.
I mean, we've talked about it before, right? It's a small thing in a round, but it can have such a big effect. I mean, Keza there wins 2 gunfights because the player has to mantle up.
Yeah, and of course, even if they mantle up, even if he's got the ICR, they're close enough where you just hit him with the quick beatdown, and it's very tough to win those gunfights when you're working your way up. And well, Envy, they just tried to force it through. Keza, happy man for it. Now just 1 round away from going up 2-0 in the series.
Once again, Envy to respond. They're on the attack. They've been able to respond every single round so far. It'd be a shame if this one didn't go to that round 11. Feels a map deserving of it. CleanX looking for first blood.
You can tell Singularity a little bit worried about the pressure that can be applied through the outskirts. But the bomb not going down yet. CleanX thinking about the mid-connector flank, but there's no real holes on the map. Envy stagnant for now, but they have all their bases covered.
The problem is, if Envy want to rotate this bomb, the only way they can go is back into the spawn, and Singularity should know that. If they decide to do it, just merely based on the time. Detain looking for first blood, backs away. CleanX stunned, still scrambles away with his life. Bomb site still should be A-okay. Because Insight has that sniper rifle. As CleanX now tries to push through, first blood comes in for Bids. CleanX did well to stay alive, but Insight still the man who could really dictate the rest of this round if he can find a pick. Envy have no other choice. They have to push over towards A, and Detain finds one. It's a 2v3. Decimate's gonna fall. Make that a 2v2. 11 seconds. Envy, they have to plant the bomb.
Singularity just play aggressive on it. You know he's in the left corner. He wins the gunfight. Last man on bomb.
There
and
it
he
is.
gets taken down. Singularity still undefeated in Search and Destroy. Going up 2-0 in the series against Envy.
And while that Search and Destroy was close, we have to have a quick glance over at Bravo. Team War versus Splice. This one, a game 5 where Team War is 1 round away from knocking out Splice here at the 2019 World Championship. And well, we're going straight into the action. Splice looking to try and find anything over towards the B site. Team War have full control, but a first blood comes through, so does the second. This round is pretty much over already. The 1v5, PT doesn't stand a chance. Splice survive.
I've been in this game for 30 seconds and I'm already a little stressed out from the side of Splice. Again, knocked down by the teammate that you dropped, potentially knocked out by one of the open bracket teams.
Yeah.
Would be a bitter end to the year, but for Splice, not out of it yet. And then, of course, for War, I mean, 1 round away and you pull a massive upset.
I do want to point out, I watched Temp a couple of rounds ago, down at 5-2, actually clutch a 1v1. Splice alive. So they've been getting a little bit of momentum, but how much further will that momentum take you? Now on the attacking side, here on a frequency. Pushing over towards B, and Team War's giving it up, but keep your eye on the minimap. They are wolf-packing.
Bomb is going to get planted for free. You got 4 men coming on the flank. Aqua's going to spot 1, just needs to not die. Now he's seen 3, feels the pressure, makes the call. They're backing off.
The problem is they're running straight in towards Dave, and Dave played so passive at the backside that Jerd needs to deal with him. He does so. First Blood, Splice, and Team War are crumbling in the past few rounds. It's now a 2v4. PT drops 1v4, defrag down. Tournament lives on the line. Game 5, round 11.
Something insane as well. Defrag has been having a nice game. He actually earned a grab slam at some point. I don't know if he got a good use out of it, but he'd already used it. So by the time we came in, apparently he was doing that well, but obviously since we joined, Defrag hasn't gotten a ton of kills. Splice has won 2 fairly dominant rounds in a row. But it all comes down to this. Hook, by the way, a kill off the Tempest, maybe 2.
Team War on the attack. A team from the open bracket pushing one of the professional teams throughout the entire year the absolute distance. And already, Splice are gonna know. Bomb down.
And Splice made a hard read. They just played for 0 information. Bomb gets planted at B. Aqua, though, spots out 1 player on the flank, but I don't know if he saw that second one cross.
I think he might have done. Based on how he's playing, Splice are just gonna go for a retake straight through top mid. This may actually work. Josh finds 1, Dave goes down. It's a 3v3 as Josh actually shuts down Looney. Advantage Splice, but Vortex puts pressure from up top. He gets a double and Hook in a 1v2. Tempest out, defrag. Dipping, diving, juking, trying to escape, and Hook! He's whiffing every shot! 11 seconds! Hook chokes! Defrag finds the kill! Team War knockout Splice in a Game 5, round 11 here at the World Championships. Another one bites the dust when it comes to our professional teams here at the championship.
Knocked down by the teammate that you dropped, knocked out by War. That flank from Vortex at the end found the perfect hole on the map. And that is a big dog down.
Of course, that, for Josh, a big result. I'm not sure if you saw on Twitter earlier on, he's saying, nope, playing against Jerd, I'm bringing absolutely everything. Of course, a rivalry there. Jerd playing former European teammates to the point. But either way, a big casualty here at day 3 of the World Championship. So far, though, there could be another one here on Alpha. Singularity 2-0 up against Team Envious. We'll be right back with Game 3 after this. what a day it's been so far here at the World Championship. There was upsets the first 2 days. There's already been a few upsets today. Splice bow out of the World Championship. Not the performance you would have expected that group of players to have. However, here on Alpha, it's not looking good for Team Envious either. Down 2-0 to Singularity. The amateur teams, the teams from the open bracket throughout the year, they're causing a big old stir to our brackets.
I will say, though, for this series, one of maybe the only clear-cut advantage Envy had when you look at the game mode records, it was control. It wasn't by a lot, but it's there. Envy have been living in the game 5s. Now they're praying for it. Off the opening break, already 1 tick through on B. CleanX, though, is just going to come and clean them all up. Able to get 2.
Don't forget, it was Arsenal where he went on that massive rampage, a big turnaround, really, from the 3-10 start he had in the hard point. Since then, he's never looked back, to his credit. Stayed cool, calm, composed. Envy still looking to try and find an opening up towards either A or B on the attack here in round number 1. They have a tick of progression into B. 45 seconds still to go, and, well, Singularity, they've set up their defensive resources.
And just look at how far they're pushed up on defense. Yeah, Keza that's so aggressive that Silly's basically behind him trying to find the kill, and by the time he does, now there's a couple players in window. Only 30 seconds off the clock, and players from Singularity are all over the map.
And the problem is Silly can't actually jump through window, so now he's looking at trying to make a hero play by trying to completely wrap, and that may be it. 4 go down for Singularity. Envy should be able to at least get pressure over towards A, and well, can Silly actually try and help Gunless and assist him over towards B? This is a split push coming through. If you're Singularity, you have to just pick one site and go for it, but Aches gets himself 3, Aches gets himself 4! A big play from a big-time player. He looks for number 5, Insight scurries away. Aches just 100 points away from streaks.
And he's gonna get it unless this one final push comes in quick enough, but it doesn't look to be the case. The Lightning Hellstorm on board, 5-life lead, and it's just a mad dash. You go to the A point, Singularity, there's basically nothing they can do. They need a bunch of hero plays, but Decimate's got window, everyone else has the door.
Oh, how this round turned around drastically. Streaks for Assault now as well. Almost got a little more towards the end. I believe he did stay alive, so that streak's still on. Envy take round number 1.
And we gotta just watch Aches again. I have no idea how he pulled off that quad feed, but did 3 with the ICR. I'm sure it was filthy stuff, but his face just cool as a cucumber. And again, think about Singularity, like they were going to win that round, had a ton of map control, 30 seconds left. It was seemingly an incredibly tough situation for Envy to be in, and they even make the bold call. They go to B first. Now you got Aches fully streaked out. Assault, by the way, somehow, some way, fully streaked out. And Decimate getting close as well.
It was the cap towards the end that really helped Assault out. And now, to your point, you have more streaks potentially here for Team Envious. We all know how strong streaks can be defending B on Control Arsenal. Having said that, though, to start the tournament, throughout group stages, I'm sure a couple of teams do their best throw impression. A lot of streaks wasted. As Decimate looks to try and find his 25 points, all he's going to need to heal. The challenge comes out, the Lightning and the Hellstorm. This is 6 streaks now for Team Envious. And we're at the start of round.
I'm not saying a word about it. I'm not saying a word about it, but if you've been watching the tournament from day 1, you know that this game is very far from over, as good as it may look.
If Gunless and Silly were able to get streaks as well, that would be borderline ridiculous. First streaks are going to be used, and that gets absolutely nothing. Do not fear, Envious fans. You still have 5 left.
Not too shabby, and of course you talk about Envy was in this spot last round, less than 30 seconds on the clock. And Envy has quite a bit of map pressure, of course Singularity storming through the inside, so trying a little bit of control, but again, you have to imagine that B point is outside. Sure, Envy has the entire arsenal at their disposal.
It is completely outside. 18-18 the life count is slowly but surely, and he gets capped up. That's going to be the second tick coming through. I'll see if you're Envy, you concede that. No point whatsoever to push it. Minute 25 will be on the clock. We're basically an even game in terms of life count, but you still have 5 streaks. Obviously, under no circumstance should you invest everything into this round, but with 5 streaks, it should never really get to the point where that's even needed.
I mean, effectively, your job on Envy right now is just never die. Never die. You can afford to play so much more passive than before. Yes, you don't want to completely give up map control. You just need to lock down effectively everything that's inside. Get a guy in vents. Have someone get control of lobby. Just don't let things get out of hand. And so far, so good. Envy with that 2-life lead.
Again, you have the emergency panic button. This is the score streak. Kleenex falls. Silly. Playing very well in that situation. Is now Assault with the ICR, looking over his teammates as they try and push forward. Envy have developed a 3-life advantage. Nothing crazy. They've only invested 1 streak as well, which I'm sure they'd love to end this round, with that still being the case. At that point, Singularity really should have no chance. Round not over yet, though. 24 seconds still to go. Decimate rushing forward. Assault left to watch his own lobby. Push has to come in quickly, but the problem is Envy have choked out Singularity, not even allowing the extra reinforcements to get to the zone in time. Spawn trapping 101.
Score streaks not necessary. Massively outslaying the opposition right now, and of course, for Envy, now you get 5 streaks to pull off a win on offense, which ordinarily, it's B that's difficult to cap. Now you got 5 streaks to get the point.
Or 2-0 up, you can concede this attacking round and still have 5 streaks to defend B, if that was the case.
Pick your poison. Just make sure that...
Just don't waste them.
Just make sure if you go for a commitment in 1 round, pour everything in.
Yeah, at that point, yeah. May as well. Envy, though, making a comeback here in the series. Of course, as you mentioned, for Singularity, this has been their weakness, if you want to even call it that, here at the World Championship. It's been a game mode which hasn't really been their strongest.
And keep in mind, long-term as well, Envy has normally been good for at least 1 hard point per series. Their map pool isn't super deep, but if they lost the first, you imagine they're good for the 4th. And of course, Singularity has been a 50-50 hard point team as well. Of course, long-term issue for Envy is win the map 5, so it's important to destroy them. Get all the momentum in the world going into that map 5.
And that's an interesting break. I think Singularity thought, well, they have all the streaks in the world. Why would they possibly even go to B off the rip? You expect them to stack A. Instead, Envy fly at B. Now a split push coming through from H. He's done well to just stay alive. Unfortunately, a team kill with the nade, but it doesn't matter because he still finds 1. B is pretty much gone. They haven't invested any of the streaks. Now you may as well catch Singularity off spawn. Assault should have a field day with at least a couple of players. There's 1. Grab Slam goes down. Player was already dead. B's gone. More streaks, invest absolutely everything. The second ticket's coming in towards A. Players working on more streaks. It isn't even gonna matter. The lightning rains down. Singularity know they're AFK. They can't possibly win this round. Envy just steamrolled them.
That is the first game where I'm like, this is a pro team playing a team that's been in the amateur bracket the entire year. Like, almost no experience from Singularity against pro teams up until 2 days ago. Admittedly, that's only 1 map that Envy was able to do something like that, but now we get to see the potential bounce back from Singularity.
And that's the key, right? For Singularity, you have to keep that in your mind. It's just 1 map. Don't let that affect your mental game. The series isn't over. You're still up 2-1.
And if I remember correctly from Singularity, they've had to have the bounce back before. They went up 2-0 against UIU. UIU nearly got the reverse sweep, forced it to the map 5, and Singularity had the ice. So again, an incredibly tough team for Envy to have to go against in losers round 1.
You just got 3.4 K's worth of damage there from Assault in just 3 rounds. Averaging about 1.1 K damage per round, and he actually was even able to play in. Great performance from him. Envy stay alive.
And perfectly played as well, because again, that very first round, Singularity did put themselves in a very good spot. And H just picked up the 4-piece, world starred somebody, got the nade kill, and from that moment on, Envy never took the foot off the gas. Of course, we got to make sure that they keep the foot there.
Yeah.
For map 4.
Can't slow down in game 4, you lose, you're out of the World Championship. Of course, if you are just tuning in, you may have just missed the exit of Splice from the Call of Duty World Championships this year. They'll bow out top 16. A very poor performance from what you would have expected from that group of 5, but congrats to Team War, they stay alive. And again, it's a similar story here on Alpha, an open bracket team pushing one of the pro teams the complete distance. And I'm excited to see how much further they can go.
And speaking of, I mean, Sicario's still in the tournament in the well, like playing for top 6, just another open bracket team that doing some damage, and we'll see if they can continue it.
Yeah, it's funny because kind of coming into this World Championship, we had that conversation. How many upsets are we going to see? And it felt collectively as if we all said, well, it surely won't be as many as last year. Well, that's definitely not been the case. Gen G didn't even make it to bracket play. Another big heavy hitter. FaZe versus 100 Thieves. That's going to follow this game. That's loser finishes top 16. There's a lot of heavy hitters. And they're going to be falling very, very early.
And like when I was thinking about it coming into the tournament, this has definitely been a year where obviously the open bracket has been completely separated. So in my mind, I was like, well, the open bracket teams now have an even more difficult roadblock in front of them because they never really get to play those pro teams, let alone scrimming them online, right? But there are a handful of amateur teams where they've been picking up the pros that have been getting dropped or taken off teams for whatever reason. So those teams I thought were going to have success from the open bracket. Singularity is a very big surprise. It is 5 guys that this year, yes, they have been having a fair amount of success from the open side of things, but really no practice against these top teams. And this is the 3rd pro team that they've played against, and potentially the 3rd one they're going to beat.
I mean, it's obviously an interesting one. You're absolutely right. They don't get to play the pro teams a lot, but the one small advantage they do have, whether it's small or large, is the just sheer amount of VOD there is of every single pro team throughout the year. They've all played so many games, so if you do your homework, maybe you can just directly counter the opposition. However, game 4, Singularity 2-1 up in the series. It's a gridlock hard point. Envy fighting for their lives.
Envy's got to make sure that they do not allow CleanX to get the ball rolling, because when he does, he can be devastating. Right now, just being annoying to the side of Envy. Lived around hole in the wall, constantly gathering at least one player's attention from Envy, and also thinking about the spawns and wins the gunfight in the back. Envy, they got to be very concerned.
Again, to reiterate, every series Envy's played here at the World Championship has gone to a game 5. Will this series be the same? Well, 20 seconds of hill time, still there on the first hill. Envy's should have control of the spawns, at least briefly, on the second hill. As I say that, 2 players spawn out on the street. One's gonna have to push through tree, so these following kills are so important. They win them. Envy, just take a deep breath, and should be able to get some early time here on the second hill.
And someone on Envy's got to step up and have a big game. Looking at Decimate or Silly really for the Sogs, because it's been the Sogs on the side of Singularity that have just been on fire in these respawns. Obviously, CleanX and Detain having themselves just a delightful time. But Envy right now, ton of time already in the hill, and for Singularity, there's nobody even thinking about contesting.
I mean, map number 1 was the CleanX show. No ifs or buts about it. He completely took over. So far, Envy a free 30 seconds. It will give them the lead, but now they're going to feel the pressure coming in from the backside. The spawn's favoring Singularity, but a pinch starts to develop, and Envy deal with it for now. A couple of kills come through, and honestly, the scrap time should be good for Envy. This is looking like a full 60.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal hold as well. Like, keep in mind, off the opening break, CleanX was causing all sorts of problems, was thinking about maybe spawn killing, but now it's just about that rotation, and Envy, well, they got a couple bodies in new, but it looks like they get cleaned up, so potential for Singularity to bounce back. But Envy did run it up to just a little bit.
I mean, that was a 2v2 on the rotation there. If Envy win that, this game could start to spiral a little bit out of control. Aches with a nice little run there, but it's Decimate at 9-2, leading the way for the boys in blue. They look to try and break in towards Tree. A little bit of a pinch if Decimate can find this kill quick enough, which, yes, he can, of course he can. He's 150 away from Streaks. The problem, there's no one there to bait. He has to do it by himself. Shut down by Detain. No Streaks for Envy. And whilst all that was going on, Aches was able to break into the hill.
Yeah, just for a moment, though, he was getting pinched in by the entire team. Decimate did what he could on the flank, but his teammates, well, couldn't win the gunfights on the other side. And now Envy's actually spawning on the wrong side of the map. No one's playing for the clearance just yet. They're trying to go for the point. Silly's able to pick up 2, and they are able to break through.
And it's funny, you mentioned players that you want to have a big performance in a game like this. I'm looking at Gunless. He's been, you know, relatively quiet for the most part here at the World Championship. He clutched a 1v4 in pool play. Sure, I'll give him that. But for me, this is one of the players who we've considered to be the best in the world the past few years. And it's a moment like this where your team really needs you, where you have to have one of those superstar performances. You want to see him get fully streaked out. You want to see everything go his way. You want to see him lead Envy to a game 5. As it stands, Envy with a small lead, but Singularity looking to try and have a lead change here with About 40 seconds left of the hill.
And as strange as this is, it was Envy that kind of walked through and just took the back spawns like taking candy from a baby, but then fighting from the front. Singularity, I mean, again, just kind of making it look easy. The gunfight's just massively shifting in their favor. Now, of course, players inside the hill. Singularity maybe trying to take the lead, but you got Gunless that is just going all over the place.
Not sure what's happening with Gunless. I call him out. He's changing his specialist, so any specialist progression he had will completely be gone. I would assume that this could be a restart. He's clearly going through it. Singularity are starting to build themselves a lead here, though, and, well, War Machine has been invested here by Detain.
I mean, my best guess is he was trying to switch classes and accidentally switch teams, probably hit it a little bit too fast, but for the side of Singularity, that's when they were gaining momentum, so Gunless can join the other team, but Singularity's running through it.
Well, any specialist progression he had, gone. So as I'm saying, he's the guy I want to make a big play. Maybe makes
one of the worst.
Big mistake. Grab some available for Kleenex, that one on the other side, and well, if he wants to, he could pop it here and go big, triple kill! Streaks earned. Envy, they're in trouble now, Chance.
And you can't let Kleenex get hot. How many sprees did he go on in the first hard point? It is an 8 this time around, and I don't see a reason for him to stop. Assault has different ideas, but double streaked out a 50-point lead. Potential hard point woes continuing for Envy.
Now you're looking at a big recovery needed for Team MVS, 132 to what will be around 87, yeah, 87 when the hill rotates. Problem, Singularity that are set up. And they're now going to start investing some of those specialists. The Gravslam, of course, already used. Bids now wants to use the Tempest. Envy nowhere near the hill for now. They're going to have to try and fight for the spawns at the backside, but Gunless gets himself a double. There's a Tempest to the face. Bids shuts him down. Bids with the double, and this is a player who, with the Tempest, we watched yesterday just run riot.
Bids is nasty. There's no two doubts about it. Fortunately for Bids, even with the Tempest, this has been the one hill where Envy has had quite a bit of success on, and it looks like they're poised to do the exact same once again. Two players for Singularity. Think about the flank. Decimate's got that covered. He tried to flood through the front. No hope of that. So that is a ton of time Envy is able to get themselves right back in the game, and now they got a couple specialists to break through tree.
You have to think, though, Gunless, is he even going to be able to get his specialist? The big question for me. Silly wins a good fight against Insight. Now the rotation's going to come through. Envy down around about 30 points. And the pinch ready and waiting to go. You've got to be quick, though, because players spawning behind Envy now for Singularity. Silly maybe thinking about that slam, but he falls. 3 go down, 4 go down for Envy. Singularity hold tree. And once again, can start building themselves a lead.
And who else but Kleenex? He was able to get quite a few kills on the way. Stilson got shut down. Silly maybe thinking about the grab. He's gonna slide out with the pistol. Does not last very long, and that is a clean feed. Decimate, last man standing, he gets cut down. Good news for Envy, you got the good spawns. Bad news, there is 30 seconds left, and Singularity is showing no signs of slowing down.
I mean, now you need a phenomenal performance on the next hill. Big issue for Envy. Kleenex, once again, has streaks. 22-13. He's going to use those streaks on P1, so you need someone from Envy now to streak. And I mean, you need a 5-6 kill streak. It needs to be inside the hill. You've got to get score streaks of your own. If you don't do that on the next hill, I fail to see a way Envy can win this map.
And I'm thinking it's got to be Decimator. Silly just comes in as specialist, but that is one already down. Silly has still got the grab, and well, you got Aches watching the cuts. A little bit of time is going the way of Envy, but you see Kleenex again, always causing a problem.
Silly's going to be asking questions. How did he get there? Kleenex just always seems to find the hole in the setup. However, Envy hold true. Tac 5 invested as well. There's no one close to streaks. 30 seconds left. And again, you know Kleenex is going to pop them on that first hill.
That's just going to be oh so tough. Silly's going to go inside. His entire team dies, and he burned the grab. The final potential saving grace. 20 seconds, and there's one man in the back for Envy. He has to contest or make a play. Gunless, he's got to go for it. Has one man out front. He's getting double challenged. He can't even get the beat down. That is the scrap time going the way. And now you got 2 streaks on the open hill to get 22 seconds.
Should be A-okay here for Singularity. Gunless does find a double, but again, the hill wide in the open. At any point, if Singularity want to, they just pop a streak, and well, the Hellstorm's coming in from Kleenex. They should find at least 1. Make that maybe even 2. No, goes over the ridge, but it doesn't matter. Teammate now with War Machine out, that's gonna be detained. Just spam it down, Lightning Strike comes through, it finds one, there's two. Singularity still in control of the hill. Envy, you have to break here, or you're gonna be eliminated.
And Insight's even got the vision pulse. He has no reason not to call it in, but of course, maybe for the rotation. But Envy, you gotta flip this hill. 12 seconds, the game is over. Insight calling in the VP, and the wipe is there. Bid's able to find 3. Singularity shutting them down.
And there it is. Singularity, a fairy tale story through the first few days. Pressure on, forced into losers round 1. They send Team Envious home. That's a top 16 finish for them. And the amateur squad progress on.
And that is a handful of former world champs from the previous year out of the tournament. A top team gone, and Singularity again. They have only matched up against 3 pro teams so far. They have taken 3 pro teams down.
Think about what's just happened in the past 10 minutes or so. War knockout Splice, Singularity knockout Envy. And it's an interesting story, really, when you look at those 2 pro teams, what could have been. The question really that will be asked about both of those. As well, the big mistake Gunless makes in that map.
Switching classes, whatever the issue was, but that was right about the same time Singularity started to make a run, but
I mean, it loses all specialist progression at that point.
Lose the specialist progression, and I mean, again, even in the back pocket, Singularity's thinking, boy, if we see that map 5, undefeated in search on the tournament still. I don't know who the first team to stop him in the game mode's gonna be, but it might be a while before we find out.
Well, it was a miracle run from Aches last year in the boys. This year, not gonna be the case. Singularity send Envious home, and I mean, what a tournament so far. I mean, some big, big names already out. We've not even made it through to Saturday yet. It's crazy.
And we've got more to fall.
I was gonna say, and there's gonna be another team knocking out soon as well. FaZe 100 Thieves up next on Alpha. But that's everything from myself and Chance here on the day. Katie, over to you.
What could have been and what never will be. Envy, top 16. Splice, top 16. Both of those teams eliminated by open bracket, eliminated by amateur teams. They will be going home, only making it to Friday. Wow.
I mean, for me, the Splice one actually just truly shocked me. I know they didn't really put it together as a team, but with all that talent, I thought they'd do better than top 16, maybe top 8 or something like that. Maybe not win it, but be better than they were. They just didn't put it together ever.
Double bopped out like that, like I really thought Splice were gonna be able to put together. Like they had a decent round 1 matchup versus Evil Geniuses. It's not one of like the top 4 teams, and it's just crazy to see them go out. But hey, these open bracket amateur European teams are coming here and putting up, right? Like they're showing up and beating some top teams.
I couldn't believe that first map. Kleenex started off 3-10. He ended the map 36-17. He went
3-10 to 36-17.
That tissue is an issue.
For real, for real. That's unbelievable, man. And then on the side, we talked about it before the series, man. Aches, he's your leader. Again, he just had a really slow 2 hard points. He was 11-21 the first hard point, 11-26 the second hard point. And that's just something out of your 2-time world champion that you really cannot have.
Yeah, what makes that Singularity team so good is their SOG duo is incredible, right? Kleenex and Detain, like they go off in the respawns, and then in Search and Destroy, they have players like Inside who can get those sniper picks, and they've been dominating Search all tournament long. Like this is a team that clearly knows what they're doing, and they're really confident in Search and confident that they can take those hard points on the back of an incredible performance out of one of their SOGs.
We talked about it before the series. They really punished Envy for how slow they've been playing throughout the tournament. Detain and Kleenex play so fast and so aggressive. They were swarming Envy every rotation, and it just paid off in spades for them. Kleenex, like, look at this guy in hardpoint. How are you supposed to beat him?
66-35.
You can't do that. Your SOG duo needs to go off. I said it before. Silly, I expected Silly to be that guy to do it, and it was just too much of a task for him to do. Too much teamwork out of Singularity.
And we said every single issue we voiced concerns over for Envy going into this came to fruition. Every problem was there. Their communication, the pacing, the capitalization from Singularity, who's again, we've seen Insight detain that whole team, looking so very strong. And again, both Splice and Envy, if you're just tuning in, have placed top 16. They have both been eliminated by open bracket teams who will continue on here. Which, in a way, though, is exciting. I mean, for these amateur teams, this is the moment for these players to shine, to have these clips, to have these moments where they can say, look at us, look at what we did. We just knocked out a bunch of the champs from last year.
Yeah, I mean,
we
if you think about,
deserve to be here.
If you think about last year, right, like it was Spacey's team that got that top 8 placing, and it put a player like Major Maniac on the map. Like going into this season, he got onto a team with some former pros and some solid players, and he got second a few times, and he was able to put himself into that, you know, talk of the pros where he'll now be on a pro team for the foreseeable future. So it's definitely incredible to see these guys sort of get their chance to be in the spotlight.
All right, let's look at our losers bracket. You can see it right there. Splice and Envy are done. They go home as of Friday. They will not continue any farther. However, Team War and Singularity keep their hopes alive in that losers bracket to face off against teams as they continue to drop down from the winners bracket. So congratulations to them staying alive. You are making it on to Saturday. Now let's talk about our schedule, because coming up, you can see it, FaZe Clan versus 100 Thieves. One of these teams is joining Splice and Envy, top 16 here at Champs. Everything is on the line. Can FaZe pull it together? Can 100 Thieves pull it together? Can they finish out their season strong? We will find out here on main stage in just a few minutes. Coming up, FaZe Clan versus 100 Thieves.